People love to visit the spectacular layered terraces at Mammoth Hot Springs in Yellowstone.
It's not something you get to go in your backyard. I'm from northern Montana and don't get to see it up there very often. We do have hot springs, but nothing quite like this. This looks good first, and so peaceful place. Yeah, I think is if I come here, it's winter time is more better, I think.
Recently, some viewers contacted us directly, posted on Facebook. One, in fact, even stopped me in a parking lot here in Yellowstone to tell me that some of the hot springs over here at Mammoth had stopped flowing. So I checked with the scientists to see what was going on.
You will see change within a week or two. You might watch a feature come alive, and next week it will be gone.
You can clearly see where terraces formed, dried up, then sprang back to life a few feet away.
Mammoth is a product of all the convergence of all these factors that come together to allow that to happen.
It all starts with where the water here comes from.
The water started the Gallatins, they flow down slope.
The water flows underground along fault lines in the Earth's crust.
And then they go down, upwards of a kilometer or so underwater or underground.
At that point, it flows through soft limestone rock from a 500 million year old seabed.
And then they hit another fault system and they come back to the surface.
It's a long journey.
The average length of time it takes for the water to get from the Gallatins into Mammoth is something on the order of about 400 to 1,000 years.
Now we know where the water here comes from, but what causes it to stop flowing?
I call it the sad midlife crisis.
Falk can barely contain himself.
Forgive me for getting so excited, but I just love all this so much,
It turns out the prevailing theory about the minerals in the water clogging the small, little finger-sized spring pathways is not right at all. That's because the water is slightly more acidic when it's under pressure beneath the surface. And that means the minerals stay dissolved.
And it never has the ability to clog itself.
So what does stop it?
And it builds and it builds, and that all sounds good. But the midlife crisis is they get overweight.
Thanks to gravity, it just collapses in on itself. Eventually, the water finds another crack in the rocks and works its way back to the surface.
And so that can take place over the course of 3 years, 5 years, 7 years, something on that kind of order. It's not hundreds of years.
That's really fast. Falk says it's 1 million to 1 billion times faster than travertine accumulates in places like lakes, caves, and oceans. Plus, the geologic process is getting help that makes it grow even faster.
The microbes that live in the hot water, the thermophiles, as they metabolize, those proteins have the ability to make calcium carbonate grow super duper fast.
So that makes Mammoth pretty unique, even in Yellowstone. It's the only place in the park whose hot springs have the right chemical makeup to create the travertine ledges in this way. In Yellowstone National Park, I'm John Shearer, MTN News.